Hello and welcome to my very first van tour vlog. I'm actually going off in the camper van with the intention of staying in it overnight far, far away from home. I'm going to South Wales. I don't have a dash cam, so there won't be any footage of the roads, but you know what roads look like. Roads with traffic. There will, however, hopefully be lots of lovely footage of the stunning South Wales, Gower Peninsula, Swansea, Mumbles, places like that. Let's go! It's the next day because I stopped off at my mum's en route and I've just driven for about 2.5 hours through some atrocious driving conditions. The rain has just been hammering down. It was like a lake on the motorway, and the spray and the mist, just horrific conditions, but I took it very safe and slowly, and I've now arrived in Swansea in South Wales. And here's the man I've come to see. You may have known him once as Gongoozler TV. He is now, of course, Shevanigans, because he's a man with a van. This is a 2017 Mercedes Sprinter, long wheelbase. Nice and roomy inside. Let's go inside, I'll show you. Still very much a work in progress. You can probably hear all the plastic sheeting flapping about in the wind. For full details of the build course, go to Shevanigans' website, link to that in the video description below. It's all being nicely documented. The green markings on the floor showing where things are going to go. That's going to be a sofa and couch. And then that corner there is a bathroom wet room. Over there, that is going to be the kitchen unit. And then over here at the back, a fantastic double bed with the garage space underneath it, which already has under there, that black unit is a Truma heater unit, and there's some more plumbing for that at the side there. One almighty leisure battery feeding an almighty inverter, and down there you can just see the 12-volt fuse system and the battery to battery charger, and a whole lot of other bits and bobs that are all part of the conversion. Vents with fans at the front and back, and LED lighting, and obviously that's not lighting, that's a hole for lighting, but there will be lighting. And then this rather excellent ceiling, which is in the middle of being sanded to make it look de-stressed. And here's a better view of that garage area. This is all going to be boxed in, all the electronics on the left and the heater unit on the right, so that will be a massive storage space. When it's all done, there will be hanging cupboards on that side, and over here loads and loads of wardrobe space. It's already looking awesome, but it's going to be amazing when it's done.
There have been days where you think, oh my lord, what have I bitten off? But those days pass. You tend to go from A to B to C to D, in my case very slowly, and you get there. And there are days where you think, oh, I've achieved so much. There are days where you have sweated and pored over this van and thought nothing's changed. So but if anybody is thinking of doing it, I think like yourself, you know, get in there, get in and do it, you know. Looking forward to getting out in it now though. You know, I just want a gin and tonic, watching the sun go down, and you know, all those YouTube channels we've all looked at, and think, right, that's what we want to do, so we can't wait to get out in it.
Van tour done. I'm off to check into the campsite. We're going to get some food and we're going to see Rhossili. I have arrived at my very first ever campervan campsite, and over there, look at that, that is the sea. This is just stunning. What a fantastic location. We have moved to Rhossili, and that you can see in the distance is the Worm's Head. I'm reliably informed that if you look really, really hard, you can see America several thousand miles in that direction. Oh man, this is about as pretty as it gets. Look at that surf.
I'm going to grab Doug and from the car. Tell Mark's good.
That is the old priest's house, now owned by the National Trust. And if you want to, you can rent that and stay in it. With apologies for the wobbling, but that was on a very high zoom, as you can see. Rhossili Beach, I am told, is regularly voted one of the top 10 beaches in the world. I can see why. It's only about 4 o'clock, but we're starting to lose the light. We've moved on again, having had a quick bite to eat in Rhossili. We're now in the Mumbles, which is where my grandmother kept a very, very tiny chandlery shop for many, many years. And I'm pretty sure it won't still be here, but we're going to have a quick walk along at the front here and see if I can spot where it used to be. When I was a kid, this didn't exist. All this concrete wasn't here. This was all part of the beach, and there was a giant rock here. Pretty sure it was here. And I used to play on the rock and climb it. And we were going back 35 years, the 40 years I suppose. I'm pretty sure it was here. And now they've built it out and put a restaurant on top of it. Really odd seeing stuff from your childhood, like this slipway down to the sea. I remember occasionally dragging a small inflatable dinghy down there that we used to get out to my father's boat. He had a 29-foot Cornish crabber, and sometimes it would be moored out there in the bay and we'd get to and from it on a little inflatable dinghy. The other thing I'm fairly sure I remember is the pilot, but I can't remember if my grandmother's shop was to the right or left of that. So I'm going to have to keep looking. One quick phone call to my sister later, and it's no wonder I recognised the pilot, because this building that appears to be a block of flats is where the restaurant was that my grandmother's shop was attached to the side of. So this didn't exist when I was a child, it was a restaurant, and on the right hand side, where that doorway is now pretty much, there was a little corner step, and just in that space, this tiny little chandlery my grandmother used to run. Well, well, well. How funny. This truly is a trip of glorious memories of my early childhood. This is Rotherslade Beach, and it's right at the end of the road where my grandmother used to live. You'd walk down just a couple of 100 yards and there was this beach, and me and the family would all play along here. Just amazing. I mean, I know it isn't amazing, it's a beach. Beaches are always there, aren't they? They don't go anywhere, but having just not been here for so long, and yet it seems so familiar. It feels very late in the evening, but actually it's only 8:10. I am, as you can see now, back in the van. We went to a very nice pub for a very nice evening meal, and I'm now on the campsite and preparing for my first night in the van. I still haven't got any curtains made, so I'm just putting up the shiny sun reflector things in the window, and they pretty much fit the windows, so they will do to preserve my modesty overnight. And I've hung a blanket over one of those extendable poles that I used while building the van, strung between the or above the seats so as to block out light coming in from the cab area. And it's pretty warm. The van's thermometer said it was 9 degrees Celsius outside. It's certainly perfectly warm inside. I've put my fleece on, but I'm not sure I really need it, and I doubt I'm going to be putting the Propex heater on. What I am going to do is have a nice cup of tea and a chocolate bar, watch a little YouTube, and then settle down for my first night in the van. tomorrow morning starts with breakfast on the beach. I've had my cup of tea. It's getting a little bit chillier now, so I've put the bed sections out, sleeping bag out. This is a super warm sleeping bag rated for sub-zero temperatures, so I think I'll be very cosy. And I'll let you know in the morning how I sleep. Good night. Good morning. Much to my surprise, the black cushions in the van, which I had to make quite thin because of a lack of headroom, were actually perfectly comfortable. I really did wonder whether I was going to wake up aching, but no, it was absolutely fine, so I'm really pleased about that. But oh my, sleep somewhat disturbed by the rain and the wind, being perched here on a campsite right on the edge of a cliff looking out to sea. It was howling last night, and the whole van was a rocking, and not in a saucy way. It was just rocking and raining and torrential, so I woke up several times for the weather. But all in all, as a first experiment, not bad. However, rookie mistake: when you are on a campsite and you go to use the shower block, take your towel with you. It's about 9 o'clock Sunday morning. This is Langland Bay, and Nick's here, and we're about to go and have a spot of breakfast in a beachside cafe just up the end there. Breakfast of champions. I'm having an eggy roll. Well, it's time for me to go. I've had a fantastic time here. If anyone else is thinking of coming to the Gower, what would you say to commend it to them?
Oh, what a silly question, David. I mean, I think the viewers are going to see from your footage, this is where most religious people go when they die. They call it heaven. We just call it Wales, but we call it the Gower.
And just like that, in a flash, the trip was over and I am back. Had a fantastic time. Nick was a most welcoming and generous host. Nick, thank you so much for showing me around. Had an absolute blast. I didn't manage to get quite as much footage of the Gower as I really wanted to, but then, you know, when you're somewhere with friends, you're there to spend time with friends, aren't you? Not to say, oh, hang on a minute, I just need to film this. Oh, hang on, I just need to film that. Oh, hang on, I just need to film this. So, yeah, I think I got enough to give you the flavour. I hope this was an interesting video. It was certainly a journey back in time for me. I've learned a couple of useful things. Firstly, the van works, you know, it does what was needed of it. I would like a welcome mat to put my shoes on. I found I was treading a lot of mud and water into the van, so I'll need a little welcome mat just as I come in. And then some sort of little rug for the main length of the van here. It's not so much that it's cold, but more for the texture on my feet, really. The floor is flat and hard. It'd be nice to have something a bit fluffy to put my feet in. But other than that, and other than forgetting to take my towel into the shower block until I was well and truly soaked, that was, yeah, you can imagine a few choice words were uttered at that point. Other than that, it all went pretty well, and I'm looking forward to the next trip. Where that will be? Well, watch this space.